My name is Alara. I am 27 years old, and the night I bought my dream house, not a single member of my family walked through its doors. I had imagined it differently. Warm laughter in the kitchen, wine glasses clinking against hardwood counters, Mom marveling at the fireplace, Dad bragging to the neighbors that his daughter made it. Instead, I stood in a silent foyer, balloons sagging, food trays untouched, because they weren't here. They were across town, circling Darren's brand new car like worshippers at an altar. Let me tell you about my family. Dad, Harold, retired contractor, tough exterior, sharp tongue, loyal only when it makes him look good. Mom, Janice, nurse, tired eyes, spends her compassion on patients and her indifference at home. Darren, my brother, 29, a realtor who calls debt investments, and selfies with cars, career growth. Aunt Marlene, my contrast. Librarian, quiet, steady. The only one who remembered my birthdays when the others didn't. That night, I set out chairs, lit candles, and waited. By 8 p.m., the truth echoed through the empty rooms louder than any laughter would have. I turned off the music, turned on the lights, and that's when my phone rang. Dad's name flashed across the screen, I answered, heart pounding. His first words. We need to talk. Now. If you're watching this, drop a comment. Hit like and subscribe. Because sometimes betrayal isn't silence. It's the noise of everyone cheering for someone else while you stand alone. Suspense. I pressed the phone tighter, to my ear, waiting for his explanation, only to hear a sentence that made me grip the counter until my knuckles went white. Turn that music back on, Dad said, like he was already in my living room. Put me on speaker. There isn't any music, I said. No one came. He exhaled, impatient. Don't be dramatic. We're at Darren's. Big day for him. Anyway, here's why I'm calling. Papers rustled near the phone. We need to move quick on your house. My house. I leaned on the island I'd saved 5 years to afford. Balloons drooped against cabinet doors like they wanted to hide. Right, he said, breezy. Your house. But the smart way is to add me temporarily to the deed. Just as trustee, protection against liabilities. Then we open a small HELOC. Rates aren't terrible. It helps the family. You're not using all that equity. I pressed my palm flat on the quartz until it cooled me. You skipped my housewarming to call about tapping my equity? He ignored the question. Darren's got a cash crunch. Bridge money until commission's clear. Your mother's hours got cut. The roof at our place needs work. You've always been the practical one. There it was. Not congratulations. Not we're proud. Just logistics. My life as a lever. Why add your name? I asked. For leverage, he answered, too honest to notice. Banks trust me. I almost laughed. Banks trust documents. He cleared his throat. Don't get technical, Alara. This is family. I walked through my quiet rooms. Fresh paint, unrolled rugs, a stack of unopened welcome mats. Mom had texted me earlier. Send pics. We'll swing by after the dealership. After the dealership. After Darren's applause. After I'd paid for my keys with years of silence. If you're watching this, drop a comment. Hit like and subscribe. Because some people measure love by what you sign, not what you survive. Dad, I said carefully, I'm not adding you to the deed. I won't open a line of credit for Darren's car. He laughed, a short, mean sound. You think this house makes you better than us? No, I said, shaking. It proves I didn't need you. His tone iced over. You owe us for everything. We poured into you. I pictured every transfer I'd made to their emergency fund, the months I covered their winter gas, the birthday I paid for Derek's tires while my own brakes squealed. Send the deed, he said. I'll meet you at the notary in the morning. No, I repeated. This ends tonight. Silence. Then he shifted tactics. Fine. If you won't help, at least bring the title packet here. We'll talk in person. Your mother wants to see the house anyway. I invited you hours ago, I said. You chose chrome and leather. His voice hardened. Don't make me come there, Alara. I stared at the foyer, at the key bowl catching lamplight like a small, faithful son. You're not on my lease anymore. And you're never touching this deed. He hung up without a goodbye. 30 seconds later, the doorbell rang. Suspense. I checked the camera and saw my parents on the porch, Darren behind them, holding a manila envelope like it could unlock my front door. As account, the one I'd forgotten, existed. Balance, 0. Suspense. Someone had already cleaned it out, and the signature authorizing it was mine. The paper trembled in my hand. My name sprawled across the withdrawal slip in letters that looked like mine but weren't. The date was last spring, when I was drowning in double shifts to close on this house. I never touched that account. I grabbed my laptop, logged into the bank portal. Closed. Account terminated months ago, and I had never received a notice. My chest tightened. Darren. It had to be. He'd borrowed my ID before, once, by accident, when he picked up mail. The memory burned. Me covering his rent after he swore he'd pay me back. Dad called it sibling loyalty. Mom called it helping him get on his feet. Now those feet were stomping across my life. If you're watching this, drop a comment, hit like and subscribe, because betrayal isn't always a door slammed in your face. It's your own signature staring back from a crime you didn't commit. I called Aunt Marlene. She answered with her usual calm, though I heard the worry under it. They've crossed from manipulation to fraud, she said. Keep every document. Don't confront them alone. You'll need legal weight now. I tucked the forged slip back into the envelope and sealed it in a drawer. My house, my sanctuary, suddenly felt like a stage where their schemes could play out. The next morning, I walked into a local law office recommended by a fellow colleague. The attorney, Ms. Howard, scanned the documents with narrowed eyes. Classic forgery, she said, and attempted coercion with this deed transfer. You're not just defending your house, Alara. You're staring at a case of financial exploitation. Her words steadied me. Exploitation, not leech. Not ungrateful. Exploitation. By afternoon, Dad texted me again. Sign the papers or we'll escalate. Don't force my hand. I didn't reply. Instead, I forwarded everything to Ms. Howard. Her response was immediate. Good. Let them escalate. The higher they climb, the harder the fall. That night, as I was locking up, my phone buzzed. A voicemail. Darren's voice dripping smugness. Hope you like surprises. Check your credit score. Suspense. My hands shook as I logged in, only to find 3 new accounts I had never opened, all maxed, all in my name. The numbers glared back at me. 3 shiny new accounts, each maxed out, each screaming my name in bold black letters. Credit cards I never applied for. Balances I never touched. Darren's voice echoed in my head. Hope you like surprises. I felt sick. Years of discipline, every overtime shift, every skipped vacation, reduced to rubble in a single scheme. The house I'd dreamed of owning was suddenly a liability, a target. I called the fraud line, reported every account. The agent's voice was steady, clinical. We'll open an investigation. Do you know who may have accessed your information? Yes, I whispered. My own brother. The pause on the line was heavy. We'll flag everything immediately. You'll need to file a police report to strengthen your case. Police. Court. Words that sounded too heavy to belong in my family story. And yet here they were. If you're watching this, drop a comment. Hit like and subscribe. Because betrayal isn't strangers breaking in. It's kin carving your name into debts you never made. That night, I pulled every file I had into a binder. The fake deed, the forged withdrawal, the credit report. I labeled it, not a leech, evidence. Each page felt like a wound and a weapon. I texted Aunt Marlene. They've opened accounts in my name. Her reply came fast. Then it's time you stop being their silence. File the report, Ilara. Let paper do what voices couldn't. The next morning, I sat in a precinct chair, binder on my lap. The officer flipped through it, his brow furrowed. This is serious. You're not just a victim of fraud. You're being systematically exploited. His words hit like a verdict. Systematically exploited. That afternoon, as I drove home from the station, my phone rang. Unknown number. Against instinct, I answered. Ms. Taylor? A crisp voice asked. This is Collins and Reeves, representing your father. We've been informed you're pursuing charges. Our client would like to resolve this privately. Suspense. I gripped the wheel tighter as the voice added, If you don't, you may lose more than your credit. You could lose your house. The lawyer's voice slithered through the phone. If you don't drop this, you may lose your house. I slowed the car, pulled onto the shoulder, heart thudding. My house isn't theirs to threaten. He cleared his throat. Ms. Taylor, families resolve things quietly. Court only makes everyone look worse. Your father suggests you sign over temporary authority, withdraw your complaints, and this all goes away. Temporary authority. The same trick they tried with the deed. I almost laughed. No, I said. The only thing going away is your case. Click. Call ended. I sat there, the hum of traffic drowning the quiet fury in my chest. They had gone from absent at my housewarming to forged withdrawals, to stolen credit, to hired lawyers who thought intimidation would work. But intimidation was what deployment had trained me against. If you're watching this, drop a comment. Hit like and subscribe. Because when betrayal gets desperate, it always shows its weakest side. That evening, I met Ms. Howard at her office. She read the transcript I'd written from the call. Good. Document everything. This is extortion layered on fraud. We'll counterfile. And don't forget, your co-ownership of their house still ties them legally to you. They can't erase that. Her confidence steadied me. Paperwork was my shield. Evidence was my sword. When I returned home, Aunt Marlene was waiting with groceries and that calm smile. She set the bags down and hugged me long and hard. You're not alone, she whispered. Don't let them trick you into thinking you are. That night, just as I turned off the lights, a shadow moved past my front porch camera. I checked the feed. Darren, pacing, a folder under his arm. Moments later, he slid something under my door. I picked it up with shaking hands. Inside, copies of my credit report, circled in red marker, and a note scrawled across the top. Drop the charges, or we drop you. Suspense. My breath caught. Not at the words, but at the faint watermark on the paper. The seal of their lawyer's office. The watermark shimmered under my lamp. Collins and Reeves, LLP. Darren hadn't even bothered to hide where the threat came from. Their lawyer's paper, their handwriting, their malice. I slid the note into my evidence binder, page after damning page. Then I hit record on my phone and whispered to myself, they've escalated. Good. So will I. The next morning, I sat across from Ms. Howard. She read the note, her jaw tightening. This isn't just intimidation. This is criminal harassment. We'll file an injunction today. And once the judge sees this, your family won't just lose money, they'll lose credibility. I nodded, breathing slower. For the first time in weeks, I wasn't just surviving their schemes. I was dismantling them. If you're watching this, drop a comment. Hit like and subscribe. Because sometimes revenge isn't fire. It's paperwork stacked taller than their lies. That afternoon, the courthouse clerk stamped our filings: fraud, extortion, harassment. I watched the ink dry, a seal stronger than any threat, but betrayal doesn't end quietly. At midnight, my phone buzzed with a group call: Dad, Mom, Darren. Their voices overlapped in fury. Dad: "How dare you drag us into court?" Mom: "Do you know what this will do to us socially?" Darren: "You'll lose, Alara. Judges don't side with bitter daughters." I held the phone away, let them rant, then spoke into the chaos. "You already lost. You just don't know it yet." And I hung up. The next day, Aunt Marlene sent me a text. "Check the local news." I opened the link. Headline: "Local realtor under investigation for credit fraud." Darren's photo, plastered across the page. His smug grin replaced with panic, suspense. And buried in the article was a line that made my heart stop. "Authorities are also reviewing property transfers linked to his family." The article spread faster than I expected. Darren's face was on every feed, his reputation unraveling in real time. Clients canceled contracts, neighbors whispered. Even his so-called friends unfollowed him overnight. By the time we walked into the courtroom, the judge already had the report in hand. He looked at Darren, then at my father. "It appears this family has used coercion, forgery, and fraud against Ms. Taylor. The evidence is overwhelming." Dad tried to stand, his voice cracking. "She's exaggerating. This is family. Private family business." The judge's gavel struck once, silencing him. "Fraud is not family business. Exploitation is not family business. The court rules in favor of Ms. Taylor. Beneficiary designations stand. Fraudulent accounts are to be closed and cleared from her record. Restitution is ordered for stolen funds." I sat taller, shoulders lighter, as the words wrapped around me like armor. If you're watching this, drop a comment, hit like and subscribe. Because sometimes justice doesn't roar. It simply writes itself into history. After court, Mom tried one last time, clutching my arm. "Alara, please don't do this. We'll lose everything." I looked at her, steady. "I invited you to celebrate my dream house. You chose chrome and leather. I gave you trust. You gave me theft. Now I give you truth." I walked away, Aunt Marlene beside me, the only family member who never needed my money to prove love. That night, I returned to my house, the one they tried to own, the one they tried to drain. I turned on the lights, the same way I had on the empty night of the housewarming. But this time the rooms felt full of proof, full of peace. My phone buzzed again, missed calls, angry messages. I placed it face down. This was my house, my silence, my victory. I poured a glass of wine, raised it to the ceiling, and whispered, "Revenge." Punch, their fraud collapsed. My house stood moral reflection. Evidence speaks louder than blood.